G'day guys and gal, I love making lore videos. It's the best job in the world and I'm forever grateful that you guys and gals have given me this opportunity. But it is fun to mix it up sometimes and get a little bit meta. Warhammer 40k has never been so popular. There has never been as many people invested into the hobby and its lore, so why are most lore channels either regressing or are stuck in complete stagnation, their peak months or years in the past? As a lore creator myself and seemingly the only channel to have a healthy growth chart, I find myself uniquely qualified to tackle this question. This isn't a why I'm better than them video, although I am, but more so answering an almost paradoxical question. Why are most lore channels stagnating or dying despite Warhammer being at its best and most popular? Because you know, that's a pretty fucking good question. Yes, as I showed last video, I am now blonde. I got it cut today so it looks a little bit less like whatever the fuck that was. People are asking if I lost a bet or if I'm doing another cosplay or if I now enjoy some prostate tickling. And the answer is no. This isn't even Barbie inspired despite my overwhelming levels of Kenergy and the fact that Ryan Gosling was iconic. The reason is fuck it, why not? I've always wanted to do something spicy with my hair that also wouldn't necessarily look like complete arse. I'm basically gunning for that regrowth look, where the sides and roots are dark. I've seen it look good on a number of people, so I thought why not try it and find out if it's a vibe. After all, if not, it's just hair, it'll regrow. Today I'll be discussing the overarching reasons for the decay of most 40k lore channels, and then getting into some individual channel issues that I've noticed with other specific creators. I'll then say how each of those issues can be rectified, at least to some extent. Let's get into it. What is the metric for a dead, dying, or stagnant YouTube channel? It basically comes down to monthly views. That is, and always will be, the most important metric, as each view literally equates to how many human beings have seen your content, as well as the fact that your view count will dictate your monthly revenue. So if your monthly view count is growing, your channel is growing. If it's stagnant, your channel is stagnant, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and if that's the case, you can always grow in other ways. But you gotta remember that stagnation is only one step away from regression. A falling monthly view count is when your channel is dying, and then if it hits a low rock bottom number, often below 20% of your peak views, and stays there, then the channel is dead. It happens more often than you would think, and obviously you want to avoid that. On the flip side though, if your monthly subscribers gained remains stagnant, you are still growing. Inevitably, your channel's monthly subs will slow down or stagnate as you get closer and closer to your content's market cap, and that is fine. Monthly views are all that really matter. The biggest cause of the view drop in the lore community is the same as any other industry: competition. Channels like One Mind Syndicate, 40k Theories, Arch had been making Warhammer videos for 7 to 10 years. Back then, they were the only people making lore videos, so despite there being less people actively watching lore content, they only had like 3 options, so even the worst content would net hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions. Basic laws of monopoly also apply to YouTube. Now, with there being over a dozen lore channels, there is just a lot more competition. Sure, there are also more people watching, but not 12 times more people watching, so shit content is just not acceptable anymore. Channels need to adapt, improve their quality, mix up their style. Some did and were able to maintain some level of life. Others did not and have died a horrific death. Most of the rules of real life businesses also apply to YouTube, which is why I treat my channel like a business, not as a hobby project. As a bit of an extension to the previous point, lore shorts have hit the scene and they've hit it hard. Made popular by Weshammer, lore YouTube shorts get a shitload of views and are a fantastic way to introduce people into the hobby or answer niche questions. Shorts have actually been a boon to the overall content space, as more people learn about 40k who were previously way too intimidated to click on a 1-hour deep dive about if members of the ecclesiarchy are circumcised or not. However, with the shorts revolution comes a shitload of new channels, which is a shitload of new competition, further crushing the older channels that used to enjoy the monopoly on lore content. That's the overall crux of the main issue, but there are actually quite a few others. Let's look at a few individual channels to figure out what they are. The first channel I want to check out is actually a mate of mine, Weshammer, the second most subscribed lore channel and someone who I genuinely thought would hit 1 million subs before anyone else. However, recently is experiencing serious regression as his views and sub growth have fallen over 90% since his peak less than a year ago. This is actually pretty interesting. Wes grew extremely quickly as he had a monopoly on 40k lore shorts. With dozens of TikToks he was able to re-upload to YouTube. Thus he was racking in millions and millions of views, getting him shitloads of subscribers. He was the fastest ever growing channel in the 40k space by far. His arrival on YouTube was so profound that other channels, like mine, saw a large uptick in views and subs as 40k content started hitting the algorithm due to the success of his shorts. Wes then transferred into long-form content, as shorts make you literally zero money even with millions of views. This was a success as his long-form started popping off like crazy, likely due to the amount of people he had brought into the 40k hobby who only knew his face, happy to watch a deep dive from a creator they had seen numerous times. However, as Weshammer stopped uploading shorts and nearly burnt himself out with the effort of creating each video, he lost his edge. He has also hit the hardest part about the 40k lore grind. What content do you make when you've already covered the Space Marine Legions, the Emperor, Chaos, all the big shit that people will always click on? This is an issue that a lot of channels have, as they actually have to get really creative. Half the effort is coming up with good ideas when you've already made hundreds of videos. You can tell Wes is struggling in the ideas department, as a few of his recent videos are pretty much exact copies of mine. He even uses my /Warhammer 40k lore thing I put in my title. It's fine, I'm flattered, but it's not something someone brimming with ideas would generally do. His recent community post confirms this. This, combined with the huge effort it takes for him to make a video, has really bottlenecked his channel. I would recommend he puts less focus in the actual editing of his videos to cut down on production time, and go back to making 1 to 2 shorts a week to compensate for his slower release schedule. Now onto the other titan, Luton09. Luton has claimed a great space in the lore content pie. He can make a video about anything lore related and it will generally perform extremely well, even random niche shit or part 2s or 3s of basic concepts. However, he has run into some serious stagnation. Whilst his sub growth remains solid, his monthly views are pretty much the exact same as they were 3 years ago. Not idealio. This is because he uploads videos very slowly, about one every 1.5 to 2 weeks. Contrast with me, who uploads 3 long form and 1 short form a week, it's easy to see why my monthly views stomp his, despite his average views being notably higher than mine. So it's not so much viewers leaving Luton, the man just needs to upload more. I believe he edits his own videos, which I respect it, as I do too. However, I have a really optimized workflow that allows me to do that very quickly. It also helps that my videos are significantly shorter. If Luton hired a video editor, I guarantee he could upload 2 to 3 times more content, getting a fuckload more views and skyrocketing him to be the first lore YouTuber to get to 1 million subs. Now for a very interesting case, Adeptus Ridiculous. Created by a number of YouTubers, most notably Bricky, they absolutely launched into the limelight by offering by far the best 40k lore podcast experience with a cool, unique format. It was interesting, and each video stood out due to each thumbnail being a custom commission. Despite this, their channel has stagnated extremely hard, with more or less the same monthly views as when they started. I think this was a case of there being a small but solid part of the lore audience that were into the podcast style of lore telling, with them finding almost everyone who was into that style very quickly. But here's the thing, Adeptus don't give a fuck that their channel is stagnant, as their Patreon has been continually growing and is now one of the strongest Patrons on the planet. Thus their growth hasn't been new people coming in, but converting existing people into patrons. They also have a minimum tier of $3.50, a cup of coffee, which means that despite having less than a third of my Patreon count, they make double the money, as my minimum to support is $1. I've thought about upping it. I know I'd make a shitload more money, but it's about principle. Anyone donating $1 has increased their support of the channel by about 1,000%, so it just feels greedy as fuck to take that option away. Not having a dig at Adeptus, just speaking my own situation. Their main driver behind their Patreon is the fact that they post hand-drawn sexualized pinups of 40k characters, as well as HD watermark-free thumbnails. Gee, I wonder where they got that idea from. I only sound salty, as from my understanding, they refuse to get me on their podcast or respond to me reaching out because of my Patreon, but then copy the same format to make money. I don't know, maybe I'm seeing the situation wrong or missing something. And that isn't why they were radio silent with me, but were happy to get other creators on board. But if it is, then it's pretty hypocritical. To be honest, I don't actually have feedback here. They are making great money, having fun, and sticking to a solid upload schedule. Sometimes channel stagnation is just the only way forward. Onto a more nostalgic example, we have 40k Theories. 40k Theories channel isn't dead, but it isn't doing too hot, and it is massively down from its peak. It also experiences no growth anymore, and is basically just feeding on the dregs to stay afloat. 40k Theories did a lot of things right, and I admire his commissioning of artworks for a lot of his videos. I believe all 40k creators should commission 40k art as a way of giving back to the art community for providing all the artworks that allow lore creators to actually make our videos. If you are a 40k creator watching this video who has never commissioned art at all, pull your fucking head in and stop being a parasite. However, 40k Theories has been doing the same thing for over 7 years. Like, literally the same thing.
Huron Blackheart, also known as the Blood Reaver. The Sisters of Silence were the anti-psychic militant arm.
Same editing, same intro music, same style. This would be okay if that style was flawless and could not be improved upon, kinda like with Luton. But the monotonous voice devoid of personality isn't the peak of lore content creation. He also seems to have very weird content priorities, spending a lot of time and effort on a podcast, a Patreon Q&A, and a Homebrew of the Week series that no one really watches. This is hours and hours of work that should be funneled into his main style of content that actually performs pretty well. Now maybe 40k Theories gets a lot of fulfillment out of the podcast, Homebrew series, and Patreon Q&A, and is happy to sink the time into it and cop the channel L. But I'm looking at this purely from a why is the channel regressing point of view. If 40k Theories wanted to revitalize things, he should drop the Homebrew series, move the podcast to once a month, and then use this newfound time to upload more content. He would also benefit from content idea brainstorming sessions, as his current ideas are pretty mid, as well as just overall injecting more life and personality into his content. Now for Baldemort, my adoptive YouTube uncle. Baldemort had a meteoric rise, reaching 100k subs extremely quickly, being the latest and greatest David Attenborough-esque Warhammer narrator. Extremely articulate with a voice like Honey, if Honey was a chain smoker. However, in recent times his analytics look like an especially fun roller coaster, and if we were able to go back further on Social Blade, it would show a large decrease from his peak. Some of his recent videos still perform very well, which shows that people still enjoy his content and himself as a creator. He has also greatly improved his thumbnails. So what's the issue and why are his analytics cooked? Well, Baldy really struggles with video ideas. Same issue as Weshammer that all lore creators face. What do you make when you've already covered all the main shit? Baldy got around this by doing videos on extremely specific topics, a specific character, a type of armor, a variant of dreadnought. This gives him unlimited content, but most of the time people don't give enough of a fuck to watch a 20-minute video about one specific subject. However, when Baldy comes up with an interesting video idea, his views skyrocket, which accounts for his unusual analytics. I know Baldy also struggles with burnout a lot, mostly due to his obscenely long video lengths that would take fucking ages to write, record, and edit. Overall, Baldy's content isn't the issue, it's his lack of ideas and burnout. If he had a few brainstorms to get those interesting topics out, I think it would do wonders for his channel. I've covered pretty much everyone interesting. He also provides a case study. All other channels that are struggling would share similar issues to the above channels. Wolf Lord Rowe's ideas are mid and his titles are clickbaity. One Mind Syndicate makes mid content in a highly competitive market. These are just to name a few of the examples. On the flip side, some channels are doing really well. Valrak's regular uploads, passion for the hobby, and finger on the pulse style means he is doing the best he has in years. Sandman of Terror's awesome shorts combined with his solid long form content has carved him out a juicy piece of the pie. Pancreas No Work's comical style combined with his cool video ideas and concepts are doing wonders for him. So it isn't all doom and gloom, it just shows that being a 40k lore creator isn't just a free pass into YouTube glory anymore. My greatest piece of advice is don't try to be better than others, be different. Every single channel that is currently succeeding is bringing something fresh and interesting. They aren't trying to become the next Luton or Majorkill. For the record, I want as many 40k channels to succeed as possible. Weshammer's meteoric launch literally lifted us all up like a fucking orc. Wah! He was the beast and we all grew from his mere existence. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we have better pinups than Adeptus Ridiculous with actual tits, as well as real tits as well, for $1, not $3.50. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more meta content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.